Are you tired of the same old DIY Christmas gift ideas? Well, I've got a few ideas for you to check out that'll definitely inspire you for the holiday gifting season. For this project, I am using just a basic, simple wood frame. This doesn't even have any sealant on it of any kind. I'm going to be taking it apart and I am going to be using some birch bark to cover the frame. Now, there is going to be a couple of ways that you can cover the frame. You can use strips of the bark and cover each side of your picture frame, or you could also do like what I am going to do, and that is to break the birch bark down into smaller pieces and kind of create a patchwork like look. Now I will be using some hot glue to adhere all the pieces to the frame. You could use some wood glue if you'd like, but just keep in mind that it will take longer to dry. You can also see that I am just using a pair of scissors to cut my pieces down into a smaller workable piece. As I'm adding my pieces, I am going to be pushing it down and I'm going to hold it there until that glue sets, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to add some pieces all the way around my frame. I just wanted to quickly show you here when I'm getting down to the bottom and the top of my frame, I'm going to cut some smaller pieces, but you'll see here that I'm having the grain of the bark go in the opposite direction. That's just personal choice. You just get creative with your piece. You don't even have to use birch bark. You could definitely try to use some other types of bark as well. I'm going ahead and adding just a few little pieces here and there. That's just going to add a bit more character to the piece, as well as fill in any gaps where it might look a little bit awkward. Again, I'm going to be using my scissors here and I'm going to trim off any of the excess. And then I am going to go in and add some thin strips all the way around the edge of my frame just to cover that up as well. So for my particular frame, I'm going to add this card here, and you can see it's got a really beautiful art piece. It's got a fox on it. I do need to trim it down to size so it'll fit inside my frame, but I actually thought it would be kind of pretty to use this for an outdoor enthusiast. You could just gift it as is, or add an actual personal image, like a picture that you have of maybe the person that you're gifting this to. But just for privacy reasons, I just decided to use this little fox card. I picked this image up from the thrift store. That's a great place to find cards, but this is actually a quick and easy project. It is definitely unique, and you can personalize this to whoever you are going to gift this to. I would say that stickers are definitely on trend right now, but one thing I haven't seen is sticker books. So I wanted to create my own. I grabbed a selection of some really nice scrapbook paper that I had in my stash. I'm going to trim mine down to a 6x8 piece. And I'm going to be cutting all my pieces down to that size, as I wanted to create a book. So I'm going to just cut them all down. You can see I've got like some little scraps here as well. You can see the back sides of my papers are blank. So I thought it would be nice to use those scraps that I have to create some pockets on the back side of some of these scrapbook pieces. I am going to use some orange tape here. It's double-sided tape. This is a really strong bond. You could definitely stitch this on, staple it on, or use your favorite wet glue if you would like. Just for speed, I am going to be using some double-sided tape, burnishing it down just to make sure I've got a really good grip to the paper, and I'm going to remove the backing off of the tape and place the scrap that I have in place to create my pocket. So I'm going to show you a few different options that you can include for storage for your stickers. I've got these sports card holder sheets here, and I'm going to cut mine down to size to fit inside my booklet. Now, if you'd like, you can definitely do a full-size sheet of scrapbook paper and create a larger sticker book if you'd like, but I wanted just a smaller one just so I can put it in a little tote bag if I'd like. I am going to be trimming this one down, but you want to make sure you trim it just on the other side of any of the sealed little pockets. You don't want to accidentally break that seal. But if you do, you can definitely stitch it. And there's also some tools out there, like heat tools, that you can use to help to reseal any of those pockets up. But I wanted to skip that step. I wanted to try to make this project as easy as possible. So I've got a few of those pockets cut out. Now I'm going to be using some self-laminating sheets. They're just single sheets. It's the Avery brand. I'm going to be cutting these down to size to fit over some of those sheets of scrapbook paper. So you want to make sure that you cut these pieces in half, because then you can get 2 pieces out of 1 sheet of your laminating material. I'm just using my little Cricut tool here to kind of lift up the corner. I'm going to peel that back, and you can see I've got my scrapbook paper on another separate craft mat. This is a nice clean craft mat, and I'm going to just peel away the self-laminating sheet. Start at the top. I didn't rip away the entire backing of the laminating sheet. I just started it out, putting this into place, and now I've got this nice squeegee with a bit of a felt edge on it, and I'm going to smooth this out. This will help to prevent any air bubbles that could form under the laminating sheet. If you have a laminating machine, then you could go ahead and use that. I just found that those are a lot thicker, and I really wanted to just try these self-laminating sheets, because I know not everybody can get their hands on a laminating machine, or they don't have one in their crafting tool supply. But these you can definitely get at like Walmart or whatever. So I'm just trimming off any of the excess here, just using a craft blade. I wanted to give an option for those who don't have any laminating sheets at all. You can get these removable glue dots. Now, my removable glue dots are kind of old, so they were maybe not the most user-friendly at this point, but I've used them in the past and they work really well. They're easy to apply, and then you could always just put these on just a plain piece of scrapbook paper, and you can remove that sticker off of that paper. There's nothing on this particular piece of scrapbook paper. It's just a plain sheet. And so I'm going to put that into place, and then you can just remove that sticker as needed. Another option is to use some foam tape. The foam tape could possibly damage your paper, so do keep that in mind. But we're going to be making our book, so then you can remove sheets and replace them as needed. All right, so I wanted to add some holes to all of my pieces of scrapbook paper. I'm using my little pocket sleeve here as a guide. I just kind of centered it as best I could, and then I'm going to go ahead and punch just 2 holes according to my pocket sheet here. And that will be the template for the rest of our sheets. So I'm going to just line a few of these up, and I'm going to use my hole punch to go ahead and punch through the sheets. I'm just doing a few at a time. You could definitely use a larger hole punch if you'd like, but I know most people have these basic hand punches on hand. So I'm going to go ahead and go through all my sheets and give them some holes. Once we are done that, I am going to just kind of sort through all my papers and the little pockets and whatnot. Also, the paper pockets that we have, I'm going to set those sheets aside, and the ones that have got some laminating sheets on, just so I can see what I all have and decide if what more I want to add to our selection here. Once I've got that all sorted, I'm going to start to layer my pieces to start to create our sticker book. There's honestly no right or wrong way to do this. Get as creative as you want with this and have fun with it. If you've got some double-sided scrapbook paper, that would be really great because then you don't have that blank sheet. You could always glue two pieces of scrapbook paper together if you'd like. Just keep in mind that the book will end up being a bit thicker and chunkier if you do decide to do that. I have a couple of some binder rings here in an antique brass color. I'm going to go ahead and put those through the holes of our book to create our book. And then I'm going to show you some DIY stickers that you can create if you want to personalize this book even further. Another thought I had, if you don't have binder rings, you can tie this off with some ribbon and trim or some string if you'd like, or you can even put this in a mini binder. So we've got our book all put together. Now it's time to work on some stickers. These are some old art pieces that I had printed out off of a website called the Met Gallery. You can access some free to use images. You just want to make sure it's open access. I typed in landscape as my search category, and I also selected paintings, so then I knew for sure I was getting exactly what I wanted. I will have a link available down below, or you can do an image search for yourself. So I did some editing and then I entered them all into Cricut Design Space to cut all of my beautiful stickers out. I will have a tutorial on how to do that listed down below. So we have our sticker book all put together. Now it's time to fill it. You can see I already have the one sticker put in place that's got that removable glue dot. I'm going to add those art stickers to those little sports card pockets sheets that we have here. So I'm going to put a few of them facing forward. You're going to need to turn some of them backwards because this is a transparent sheet and you are going to see the backs of the stickers on the other side. So I thought for a little interest and to make it fun, I turned some of the stickers backwards here so you can see them on the other side. Now I'm just going to continue to flip through. I've got some sticker sheets that were gifted to me that I put inside. I also have some stickers that I bought off of some artists that I absolutely love. These ones are from Bailey J, a Canadian artist, and the other ones are from Catnip. She is a artist from the UK. I'm going to show you how I'm going to be using the laminated sheets. I've got these really cute stickers that somebody had gifted me. I'm going to go ahead and peel them off of their backing and put them on the laminated sheets. And this way here, you can remove them as needed. You just have to be careful when you remove them. Or you could create a fun little scene too, like say you had a nice little landscape or what have you on this one. You could create something fun, but you can see how easy they are to remove, and then you can put it back on as needed. You could always add some extra adhesive if you ever need to. I'm also going to go through some other stickers that I have on hand and add some to some fun little pockets that I bought from Dollar Tree a while ago. And I'm just going to put a few of them in, and they are great to tuck in some of those pockets that we had created as well, just for a fun variety of some different stickers. And that's the beauty of this. You could totally customize this book for anybody that you plan on gifting this to. And they can also add other stickers that they may already have or plan to collect. So I wanted to try something different for some storage. I'm going to be taking a sheet out of this faded old little mini photo album that I had on hand. You can get these really cheap from Dollar Tree. I thought providing a large pocket inside our sticker book would be great. Rather than the paper pocket, this will be transparent. Now keep in mind that there is the white little divider that's in between that separates the front and back. So I'm going to be adding some double-sided tape just to one side, and then I'm going to be putting it in place on one of those blank backs of our scrapbook paper that I have. I'm also going to make sure I'm placing this lower down on my sheet so then I can stick a larger sheet of stickers at the back side. So I've got lots of different stickers in my stash. So I'm going to go ahead and add these. You just want to make sure they're going to fit the size of your pocket. I've got these really fun sparkly hearts. I'm going to just trim them down because the full sheet was a little too long for my book. And this was a little bit too wide when it was left in the packaging. So I took those stickers out of its packaging and I'm going to slip those inside that transparent pocket. And it looks really pretty. So I hope this has inspired you to look at your scrapbook paper differently and hopefully create something beautiful for anybody who absolutely loves to collect stickers that you know of. Perhaps that somebody is yourself. If you're looking for a unique project that's affordable, hit up the thrift stores and find a wood bowl and an old candlestick and combine the two pieces together to create a trinket dish. I suggest that you use Gorilla hot glue sticks along with some clear Gorilla silicone. That will provide the good strong bond that you need to keep the two pieces together. For today's example, I'm just going to be using some hot glue just quick application. So I put some hot glue on the bottom of the wood bowl, put the candlestick into place. I made sure it was all nice and center. For a nice little added touch, I'm going to add some trim, and I'm just going to use this lace trim that I had. I'm going to wrap it around the base and tie off a simple bow. You do not have to do this. I just wanted it to just look a little bit more feminine. This is definitely a very unique piece. You're not going to find the same two pieces anywhere. Like, everybody's got different candlesticks at their thrift stores along with wood bowls. You could use like a little tin or even a little basket would be pretty too. Now I'm going to fill mine up with some Linder chocolates, but fill yours up with anything that you'd like. You could add some jewelry to this. That would be pretty. But I'm just trying to keep this nice and simple. And then you could just wrap it up with some cellophane and gift it to somebody. You could give this as a hostess gift. I think this is absolutely beautiful. These are some images that I had edited and I uploaded them to Cricut Design Space. I printed them out on to Cricut's printable iron-on for light fabrics. And again, you can go to the Met to find some landscape art to use for this particular project. So I've already printed my images out. Again, I'm going to have another tutorial showing you how to do this, linked down in the video description if you are at all interested, because I've done this project several times on some different style of totes. This is a tote that you can get from Dollar Tree. They're very, very cheap, but I love to use them. They're actually sturdy, nice for a little journal or what have you. So make sure you follow the heat guide for your particular heat press and the material that you are going to be using. If your tote has like a coating on the inside, use some parchment paper on the inside of your bag. That'll prevent it from melting the two sides together. So again, I'm following the instructions on the heat guide for my Cricut press, along with the type of material I'm using and the Cricut material that I'm using. It was very, very wrinkled. As you can see, the tote is very wrinkled. I'm going to just press those wrinkles out, and I'm going to go ahead and follow the instructions on how to apply this vinyl. I absolutely love using this vinyl. It's so fun to be able to print something out and apply it to a surface like this. It makes a tote bag very customizable. I haven't tried this product on anything washable yet, so I'm definitely going to be trying that out, and I will let you know how that stands up. You can see how beautiful that looks. For the other side, I did flip it upside down onto a protective sheet so I don't get the image glued down to my heat mat. And then I added I'm heating this up, and I'm going to add my other image, And it's really important that, again, you protect this image, this vinyl, with another sheet of parchment or what the protective sheet that they provide you with the material. I'm just lining things up to try and get it all even from front to back so it looks balanced. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish following the instructions here. You can see how beautiful it is. I set it aside to let it cool down. I'm going to remove those inner pieces of parchment, and this project is ready to go. We are going to fill it up with some fun artsy things that I found at Dollar Tree. I found this bookmark little packet here. It's all travel themed, and I thought it was really, really fun, and I knew it would fit inside this tote really well. And I also discovered that they had some brush markers. Now, I don't know how well these brush markers worked, so I let me know if you have ever tried them and how they work for you. But I still thought it would be fun just to tuck those in, add those bookmarks, and you've got a fun artsy gift to give somebody. I'm going to be including this journal that I made out of an old book. I'm going to slip that inside my little tote, and there you go. You've got a beautiful handmade gift that you can give somebody. Or if you'd like, you can fill it up with these little craft kits that you can get at Dollar Tree as well. It's just another really affordable thing that you can get to give somebody, and I think this is such a fun little tote that you can put together. I found this particular piece at the thrift store. It's got a frame, but it is kind of like a little wall cabinet. You can see it's got some hangers on the back. I opened it up when I was at the thrift store and I discovered that you can hang keys on here or some jewelry. But I had something else in mind for this piece. So I needed to start off by removing all the interior pieces. I didn't need the hooks or these pieces of wood. To remove some of this wood, I'm using a spatula, and then I'm going to go in and add some heat just to help to loosen up any of that adhesive. Now, if you can't get your hands on something like this little cabinet, you could use a shadow box, or you could use a picture frame that's got deeper edges that could mimic a shadow box. So I was able to remove those wood pieces, and I'm just going to throw those out. I don't actually need them for anything. I needed to sand down the glue that was left behind, and also some of the paint came off of the spatula. So I was just sanding that off as well. It doesn't need to be perfectly sanded, but there was still quite a bit of glue left. I got rid of the dust, and now I'm going to remove the frame backing as well as the glass. But as I opened this up, I discovered this wasn't glass. It was actually a sheet of some acrylic. So I put that aside for now. I'm taking some measurements of the back panel of my little cabinet here. You could paint the inside of it, but I decided to try to use some white cardstock. I just wanted to try and make this easy because I knew I would probably have to apply multiple coats of paint to cover up the wood. And I'm just trying to make this easy for myself and for you, so I thought I would give the cardstock a try. I cut some pieces down, one for the back, and then for the inside edges, I'm going to be using some Aleene's tacky glue to adhere all the pieces of cardstock. All I'm going to do is apply the glue, and I'm going to use a little silicone brush to smooth it out. You could use a piece of cardboard, whatever you'd like, and try to apply as much glue as you need. And go ahead and use your favorite glue that you'd like to use for paper crafting. Once you have enough glue in place, you can go ahead and adhere your pieces of paper. I'm going to go ahead and start off with the back. And sorry, I know I said paper, but you actually do want to use cardstock just because it is thicker than printer paper. Using a bone folder to smooth it out, and then I'm going to go ahead and add some pieces to the inside as well. You can see that covered it all up really well, and I'm able to close this all up. Now, again, I'm trying to make this easy for myself, so I decided that I wanted to darken the frame that's going to go with the image that I have selected for this piece. I'm using some archival ink in potting soil. This is supposed to be a permanent ink. I'm applying it with a makeup sponge, and you can see the color difference here. I thought that would distress it a little bit in a different way rather than painting and sanding and painting again. I wanted to try this out, and I was actually pretty pleased with the outcome. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to apply this ink all over this cabinet until I get a look that I'm happy with. I let it dry really well. I let it dry overnight, but I discovered that there was still a bit of a tackiness, so I gave it a coat of some matte clear spray that I picked up from Walmart. So I've got some fairy lights, and they've got really small battery packs, and I wanted to include them on the inside of our frame. But I still wanted to be able to access the batteries to remove them whenever they die. So I'm going to use some Velcro little pieces here, and I'm going to add those to the back of the battery pack, and then I'm going to put those in place. They fit just perfectly within my frame. So it depends on the type of frame that you're using, or shadow box will determine what you will need. You might be able to get a full pack of batteries in your piece, but I needed to have some smaller battery packs for mine. Now, I will suggest, if possible, I do recommend using light strips rather than these fairy lights. It will definitely make it easier to do this project. I didn't have any light strips, so I'm going to go ahead and use some fairy lights. So all I'm going to be doing is just folding the wires back on itself, so then I get a nice balanced look all the way around the inside of my frame with my lights. And I am going to be using hot glue to help to secure all those wires in place. I have done this before, and the hot glue surprisingly works just fine with these fairy lights. It didn't end up causing any of a problem for me. And I'm going to be using my silicone brush to help push the lights into the glue. When you let your glue set for even just a few seconds, it cools it down enough, I find, and then I can touch my glue. I know I've had a few people say, "Oh, ouch, that must burn." I'm like, actually it doesn't. I don't know. I guess maybe I've got a lower temp glue gun. I'm not sure, but it works fine. But of course, you can use those little finger protectors if you like, but I found that those do not fit my fingers. All right, so you can see I'm just going to go all the way around the edge. I am going to trim off some of the excess there. It was just too long. And I know the lights flickered off for a second there. That was just because the two end wires had touched each other. So I'm just going to glue those off to the side so that that doesn't happen again. All right, so now I'm going to put my frame back into place. Remember, I had this acrylic sheet here. There was a protective coating on it. I removed that, but I also needed one more piece of transparent, either acrylic or glass. I'm not going to be using the backing that came with it. I didn't need it because I needed this to be transparent. I'm going to go ahead and use some rubbing alcohol to give these pieces of glass and plexiglass a really good cleaning. I grabbed this sheet of glass from an old picture frame that I wasn't using anymore, and it was the exact size that I needed for this piece. It was just another frame from the thrift store. So this was an art piece that I printed onto vellum. You can get stuff like this from craft stores or from Amazon. You want to print it out when it's taped to the edge of a piece of cardstock. That will just help it go through your printer a little better. And then when you're done printing it out, you're going to remove that cardstock off of the back. And you can see how nice and translucent this is. And I will have the artist where I printed this from listed down in the video description so you can go and access that as well. To make it more personal, you could definitely add a family photo, but again, for privacy reasons, I decided to go with a landscape image. So all I'm going to do is cut the vellum down to size so then my image will fit within my pieces of glass. Once you have your image cut down to fit within your frame here, I'm just determining if I want to use the plexiglass or the actual glass as my front panel, because you do need to put that into place first. And then you're gonna add your image. You wanna make sure it's facing the right way. At first I had it in the wrong way and I had to go back in and correct that. So you'll see it facing the correct way later on. Next, you're gonna put your other clear little piece of plexiglass or glass into place. And the back panel that we're not using anymore, it had little tabs on it to help hold the glass into place, but mine doesn't have that anymore, so I'm going to just use some little craft sticks that actually fit into the little crevices on the inside of my picture frame. You could add a little bit of hot glue instead, but I wanted to give this a try, and I was actually surprised how well that worked. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a close-up here so you can see how they are fitting inside. So then all you have to do is just turn your lights on and test out to see how your image is looking. And this is when I discovered that my image was upside down, so I went ahead and corrected that. But I have to say this turned out amazing. What a unique gift to give to a loved one. I have a playlist filled with some other gift ideas that you will definitely want to check out. I hope this video has inspired you to look outside of the box when it comes to making handmade gifts. I want to thank you all so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.